Getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to the inaugural season of Sim Racers Group Formula 3 Racing on SMB. J.R. Gregory here with you on the call. Beside me in the commentary booth, my partner, Charles Bochelle, and tonight's producer, the great Mike Braun. And as 2025 Season 3 rolls on, our F3 Warriors will head to the legendary Nürburgring. The original facility, of course, opened in 1927 in the shadow of the Nürburgring Castle in the Eifel Mountains of Germany. The new facility that we're racing on here tonight opened in 1984, past host to Formula One, the World Endurance Championship, European Le Mans, and many, many others. Our current configuration tonight is 3.2 miles, 15 corners, including that somewhat abrupt final chicane. The record on this course, a 128.139 set by Max Verstappen back in 2020. And Charles, some folks may be disappointed that we aren't seeing these cars out on the green hell tonight, but the GP-Strecke was designed as a Formula One circuit, and in our experience, these cars do fantastic work on these F1 courses. So what are your keys to tonight's race?
Yeah, JR, the keys tonight are, pretty straightforward. It's a draft-heavy track, lots of straightaways. That's going to help keep the pack closer. Midfield battles should be great again this week. Secondly, high-speed corners will probably cause more tire wear. We'll see our usual rear tire wear at the 20-minute mark or so. Might see a little more on the fronts as well, just because of the nature of the track. Lots of high G corners here. And then finally, the trouble spots are turn one, the Schumacher S, which we just had in the shot, and in that oh so tight chicane that you mentioned just a few minutes ago there, JR. So it's going to be a great race. I'm looking forward to it. This is probably one of my top three tracks for the F3 car that I like to drive, along with Sebring and strangely enough Suzuka. But that's just me. But anyway, this fantastic track, and yeah, it's built for the F1. F3s run just fine here.
Yeah, they really do. I got out and got a little bit of practice in just before the broadcast started, and we're taking a look at Neil Day right now go through that tough turn one that Charles was mentioning, and he's taking my line through there. I kind of like to jump that inside curb. Doesn't seem to upset the car too much and opens it up. And for me, Charles, the tough spot is right here, and this is 3 and 4, and it seems like you're waiting forever to apply throttle right there. It really takes a massive amount of patience. And I think in regards to tires, people who are impatient and kind of overcooking that entry, maybe feeling some pressure from behind, are going to be roasting their fronts in a hurry right there if they are not careful. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. We'll stick with Day for a second. This is a great corner right here. They widened the entry. Day washing out just a little bit right there, fighting that understeer, and that's what I'm talking about. We're 56 minutes into this practice session, and those front tires are not looking too happy. This is the Schumacher S that Charles mentioned, flat out in these cars, and this is the beautiful setup to the final run toward that kind of awkward buzzkill of a chicane. And we're going to go through the final corner right here. This is Bitkurve if you want to work on your German. And now we are flat out. We're going to run these F3 cars all the way through the gears, be deep into sixth, and have a huge braking zone down here into turn 14, this 14-15 combo. And my question, Charles, is side by side there is doable, but fraught with peril. And how many people are going to roll the dice right there tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. That is the tighter of the two chicanes, and it is it's not too bad. But as you said, too wide in there is a difficult task. You have to have a little bit of cooperation with that other car, because as we've seen with other tracks and with other chicanes, looking at you, turn one at Monza. Sometimes those cars like to cross lines during that chicane, and that's where you see a lot of contact. I am interested when we're talking about the Mercedes arena section, that turn 3, turn 4 complex. I think you'll start seeing, when you start seeing the rear start to go on these cars, you might see a few cars with a little half spin through 3 as they're trying to stay off trying to raw that corner. But once they just even touch the throttle, you may see the rear come around, just because of just the nature of that corner as we get a little closer to the end of the race.
Yeah, really tough right there. And to follow up on turn 3, that turn 4, you can take a pretty big bite of that inside curb, and you can really extend the exit there. They've added some extra track there, but every time you do that, you're rolling the dice. And Charles, I think this is one of those tracks where the 1Xs might start to pile up in a 25-minute sprint, and we will do our best to keep an eye on that for you. But let's take a look at those practice times right now. 59 minutes into a 60-minute session. It is Case dominant up top with Poborgi 6/10 behind, and then look at that pile of cars behind Poborgi: Eggert, Green, Vickeroy, Mikovits, De Silva, Corwin, Velasco. I talk about this, the colors of our timing tower. All of those orange or amber intervals are less than 0.5. And folks, yes, that runs from P2 all the way down to P21. And as Charles said, this is a draft-heavy track, tends to suck these cars together, and this one is going to be a close one. And the guys up front, probably Poborgi, Eggert, Green, Vickeroy could be up there, Mikovits could be up there. Their job is going to be to keep in contact with Stephen Case and not let him drive away, because if he does, this is going to turn into another Stephen Case track day.
Yeah, and that's what, as commentators and viewers probably don't want to see that. You want to see a good battle for the lead up front. But Stevens had kind of been the best one out there. As I lose my, where's Ron Mullins when you need him? Looking for a good analogy.
Well, it reminds me of the time I bit into a jalapeno pepper while stepping on my cat.
Exactly right. So no, it's Steven's done a great job. He's been pretty much the class of the field since Adam Thompson has just disappeared off the face of the planet. It's been pretty much him ever since that, and he's done a really great job. He's had some challenges from other drivers. But at the end of the day, it just seems like he pulls away. So the cars behind are going to need to be a little smarter today about just kind of staying in line and riding, get a little closer to the end, and just keep in contact. If you can keep him within that 1 second, you can stay in his draft and pull a 10th here and a 10th there. You want to be, you will be in striking distance before the end of the race. But if you're battling for P2 through corners, that's not going to help your case at all.
Yeah, too right. And a shout out to Thompson, who has been transported to infant land, and best of luck to him on that endeavor. That's why he is not in the cockpit. He's definitely dealing with fluids, but it's not transmission fluid. But as we get our 15-minute qualifier underway here, Mike, maybe we could throw up those points and see where we sit right now. We are week 8 with 4 remaining, and I believe the drop weeks may be reflected in the latest standings. I could be wrong about that, however, but we'll give you what we got. And Stephen Case up top there with a 50-point gap behind to Vickeroy. Case, Vickeroy from Eggert, your top 3, and a pretty nice little pileup right there. We've got Mikovits. We've got this double Mikovits problem yet again, but it's Mikovits in 4. That would put Poborgi in 6. But Poborgi's still right there, 8 points behind. 8 points behind him is Green. Then it's Velasco, Lebivi, and Corwin rounding out your top 10. And pretty tight competition there in the second or third down to about the top 10. Very tight, still anybody's ball game. And remember, these guys and gals are out there for their first league season in this F3 cars. They're getting better at driving them every week and getting more skilled and making less mistakes. So those tight races are going to come down to the wire very likely as the season unfolds. But here are your team point standings, and somewhat predictably, that Case and K up top leading by a mile almost. 80 points there. That's Case and Dylan. Then Vibes-based racing team in there in P2, it's Poborgi and Conway. Then Hubi SRG6 is Mikovits and Duvall. Avav Boom has shot up the standings. That's Vickeroy and Neil Dev sitting in P4, followed by the Eagles. That's Velasco and Kocher. And Green Posada has dropped out of the top 5, now sitting in P6. And there is the rest, there be, I guess to speak properly, there be the rest of your team point standings. So taking a look at qualifying now, we are still, this is a long track. We still have not gotten anybody all the way around twice, but we're expecting that to happen here in a moment. And it's going to be interesting to see if Case is going to throw down the gauntlet here early. He was certainly dominant in practice, Charles.
He was indeed, yeah. 0.6 of a second gap. Now, obviously, qualifying, since we're in the open qualifying format, it's a different story. Might get somebody that's in that, top 5 that gets a flyer, gets a good tow from a car in front, can pick up 3 or 4 tenths, and the next thing you know, they're up there battling for pole position. So, these open qualifying sessions are, there's as much strategy involved in that almost as there is the race itself. So, especially if you're up there and you feel like you've got a pretty fast car, you want to maximize that and keep you out of the mid pack if at all possible. And I'm just kind of waiting as race starts as we're looking here going into turn 1. That turn 1 is, I mentioned it when we were at Fuji. They're kind of similar. It's kind of a downhill run, so you're going to have, potential brake, lockups going down there, but it funnels down. It's like 5 wide going down into the entry. But, as you see, it's not 5 wide coming out. You have to have that thing cleared up before you get through past the pylon there to down to probably 2. 3 might be a stretch. You probably can make it, but once again, you're going to need some help to make all that work. So it's one of those that we'll have to kind of watch out for, especially in the early laps when the field's pretty tight. We'll have to keep an eye out on turn 1 as we're moving forward during the race. And yeah, I think that's one of the things that I didn't really mention in the keys, but we talked about it with some other tracks that we were out at recently. A lot of the elevation changes in the braking zones that make it a little bit trickier for this car to get it slowed down properly.
Yeah, and that turn 1 is such a temptation. You get a good run out of the final corner down that pit straight. You get a little bit of a draft. You see that opening on the inside. It's very wide there, as you say, Charles, and it really takes a lot of discipline not to try to dive bomb it in there every time, but it certainly can result in tears, and also really kind of easy to set up an over-under move there if you just stay really wide, play the bullfighter, say Olay, and let that car smoke by on the inside. You can get him back before getting to the Mercedes Arena section. So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of that out here tonight. And time's coming in right now, waiting for Case to throw one up, and he is actually up there. So time starting to come in, 5 minutes in. It's Vickroy up top of the 251, 51-2, followed by Green, Eggert, Case, and Daniel Lebivy. Then it's Bali, Mikovits, Conway, Cardenas, and Corwin to round out the top 10. You see the rest of them there, and we're probably going to get some significant bites out of those times. And we talk about this every now and then, Charles, on these tracks with long straightaways. This is one of these tracks where the slipstream giveth, the slipstream taketh away, and the slipstream can putteth you someplace on the grid where you might not want to be if you get lucky on either of these long straightaways. And we'll see. The proof is going to be in the pudding here in this qualifying session, whether or not Case got a couple lucky toes to put down that dominant lap in practice.
Yeah, it's very possible, and this will not really be much of an indicator. It's just going to be whose strategy paid off and set the fastest time. We really won't know till we get into the race session and we get the cars battling each other. Who's going to stand out? But obviously, you can go back to past history. Vickroy, obviously, great run last week. Had obviously running P2, has had great runs over the past 2 or 3 races. So no surprise to see him up near the front and sitting on pole temporarily as we're about halfway through the qualifying session. Once again, also Jason Green done really well and had some really good finishes as we're on board here with Eggert, who's been up in the top 5. So no surprise to see him still up there. So, as we see Jason Green now setting the pole time, 151 flat. So good lap by Jason. So as you can see, and there's Vickroy jumped him by a 10th. So, the times are still dropping. So we're now in the 50s, which I think is where we were in practice.
Yeah, and Vickroy, my notes here, indicate 5 podiums out of 7 appearances here in Sim Racers Group Formula 3, including 1 victory at Sebring. The last 2 races were Case and Vickeroy running 1 and 2. So is this going to be the track where Vickeroy is able to step out of Stephen Case's shadow and get a victory out of this? And so far, Case about 6/10 off of Vickeroy's qualifying, and a little bit, I don't know if that's Hargy, Charles Bargy, or maybe both.
I think it was both, actually. I think that was Dave that actually moved to the inside and took that narrow line through 3. And then the other car went wide, and then they took opposite lines coming through 4, and then made contact on the exit of 4 about right here at this part of the track, which is probably won't be the last time we see that tonight. There is a couple of lines through there, but they're different speeds, so you could take that really narrow line through 4, but you need the wide exit in order to make that happen at any type of pace. Also, you can take that wide entry through 3, but you're going to go through there, or sorry, into 4, but you're going to go through a little slower, but you'll get a much better run through mid corner and then on the way out. So as you saw, meeting of the minds there, and 1 car spinning, will be resetting probably to get a fresh car and try again.
And De Silva looking pretty good there in my book through 3 and 4. That's kind of where I like to stick it. And don't get me wrong, I am not Michael Rolfe or even Willie Schumacher, but De Silva looking pretty smooth right there. And Vickeroy looks like his moved up a little bit, took a little about a 10th out of his previous time. Now sitting in pole with a 150.8 and about 2/10 back to Green, and Green's got Eckert all over him. And just as I say that, bam, Stephen Case sneaks in front of Vickeroy by 2 1/1000ths of a second, Charles.
That's pretty tight. Yeah, I was kind of watching as we flipped to him. He had like 3 purple sectors out of the 5 on that lap. So great lap by Case, but just puts him ahead of Vickeroy, like you said, 2 milliseconds. So still very tight at the top, but that bodes well for a really great race. They just got to keep it clean and get settled in, and we should have a nice battle as you see the top 4 separated by under 3/10.
Milliseconds. Normally I don't hang around with mathematicians or scientists, Charles, but we're gonna have to talk about that after the broadcast. But qualifying winding down here, about 4.5 minutes remaining. It's Case from Vickeroy, from Green, from Eggert, from Mikovits. Those top 5 cars separated by only 52 hundredths. And looking down my timing tower, as I like to do, our top 11 cars within less than 0.9. And the longer the track is, the more impressive those tight timing intervals are. And this one is quite long, actually might be the longest one that we have visited so far this season. And there's a little unwanted visit into the kitty litter for somebody there. And the difference between these F3 races and F4 races on our Tuesday night schedule is damage here is on. So that's one of the double-edged sword that you get when you graduate in the Sim Racers Group Developmental Program and move from F4 up into F3. Damage is now on, and that's got to kind of change your attitude and change your willingness to take risks, and you saw a little bit of it right there.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question, Jared. You said that you did a little practice before this. I did not get a chance to. It was kind of busy today. But were you running up on the curb through the Schumacher S, or did you kind of just stay off of them? Didn't know if that was a viable option for the F3 as it currently sits, where you can just kind of ride that tabletop curb on the outside to get a better entry in through the S's.
I did it both ways. Most of my seat time is in GT3, and I definitely do what you're saying. Put the 2 right-hand side tires up on that curb to open up the entry. But this car will go flat through there, completely flat in my experience. And maybe I wasn't getting the most awesome launch out of turn 8, which is kind of difficult, and we'll see people struggling with that today. But it will definitely go flat through there without touching the curbs, and maybe as qualifying winds down, we can hop in with one of these guys at the pointy end of the grid and see how they take it. But that's a very good point. In a GT3 car, that's a risk reward thing. It does upset the car to get up on that curb, but it can open up the entry and let you get through there a little quicker. This car may not need to do that, but so we'll hop on with one of these guys in that part of the track and talk about that a little bit more. Maybe we can get the 777 right now, Mike. Yeah, here comes Velasco, and he is staying off of it, and maybe a little smooch right there. Yeah, and that second curb, the second right-hander in that Schumacher S combo is less severe than the first one. Charles called it a tabletop, very accurate. We're going to see Schneider go up on it, and he is going to try going up a little bit on that right-hand side curb to open up his entry. But yeah, it looked like both drivers there taking it flat, just a matter of maybe habit or preference there, Charles.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably what it is. And yeah, he took the red and white section, kind of used it to maybe push him across the track a little bit, maybe get a little better rotation into that S. But yeah, it's a different thing. As you said, I'm very much I love the F3 car, but I very much drive probably more laps here in the GT3 than anything else. So yeah, the curbs are very much a viable option in the GT3s once you get some heat in the tires. And I'm assuming you could probably do that with these as well. But obviously, these are if you can do it without it, if you can go through there flat without it, no sense in risking it.
Yeah, and one more brief comparison to GT3 as our qualifying winds down here. I'm very aggressive with the curbs around here in the GT3. I drove the F3 the same way, and it really seemed to handle it very well. So I was not really altering my lines. I was hitting all the curbs I normally do, and the car was handling it well. However, I only did about 10 minutes, and these tires change quite a bit between 10 minutes and 25 minutes in, so that might not be viable in the long term. In the short term, though, it was working just fine for me. Qualifying winding down now, and have not seen a lot of movement, at least at the top. It's Case from Vickroy, from Green, from Eggert, from Mikovits, and there's a few folks that have a crack at moving up here. Let's see who is coming around. We got Case coming around right now. Who else?
Victor's in the pits. Green is on his lap, about a quarter of the way through. Eggert's about halfway through. So we should have a few more times come in that may change the order just a bit. But Vickroy is standing with his lap time of a 150.83. So that's his done and dusted. And CC Stephen Case 150.533 moves up. Now it's about a 0.3 of a second lead over Case. Over Vickroy. And I can't speak well, but I do math good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll take a look at Jason Green. I love that sexy SMB logo on the side of that F3 car. And when I was in this session earlier, I noted Green is sitting on a pretty gaudy open wheel I rating. It's about 4.5K. So there is some serious talent out here on the Sim Racers group grid, and Green is somebody that he just has to take off about 2 ticks to displace Vickroy and end up P2 on the grid, which is not a bad place to be here at Nürburgring. You see him attacking the curbs on that final chicane, totally doable, and it's probably kind of hard to get through there fast without touching him. So we're going to see a lot of cars banging over those things today. And here comes Green. See if he's able to help himself. The sector display at the bottom of the screen not really indicating much help, and he is not getting any. Actually, that was only about 0.05 off of his previous fast lap, but no help for him. We'll take a look at Lopez now. He just needs about 0.2 to displace Kocher into lucky P13, and he may be the last car on track in that 007 car.
I don't think this lap's going to count. I think we're already past it. I think where he's located on the track. I just don't think that he's got is that 2 minutes already. So obviously he want to improve his lap time. So he's pretty much done. He's just getting another lap just for a little more practice before this race starts. So I think we are pretty much set. We're just waiting on iRacing to kick us over to the race session.
All right, and as we wait for that, we're going to have those qualifying results up for you momentarily. We will show you the grid as soon as iRacing decides to click over the universe. And there it was. The screen flashes, the sun comes out, the crowd suddenly swells to capacity, and it has got to be race time. Sim Racers Group F3 here at Nürburgring, and there are your qualifying results. And grid still busted, so we'll just go off of this list. In row 1, it's going to be Case next to Vicroy. Row 2, Green next to Eggert. Then in 5 and 6, Poborji next to Mikovits. Velasco will line up next to De Silva in row 4. Corwin will line up next to Bali to round out the top 10. Then it's Libivi next to Lloyd Conway. Kocher next to Lopez. Adam Duvall next to Justin Snyder. Grunsky next to Cardenas in 17 and 18. And I had a couple more there. Yeah, there we go. It's will be Wang next to Dylan in 19 and 20, and then Diego Posada next to Jason Trantham in 21 and 22. Neil Day will bring up the rear in P23, and the last couple names on the grid, I think we're just out doing laps for practice and did not set a quali time. And there is that Castle Nürburg. I've actually been up there, and very, very, for an American, Charles, to go over to Europe where everything is so old, it definitely kind of puts us and our little dinky country into perspective. But there is your starting grid. That is Case in the red number 243 to your right, and that means he is going to have the outside entry off of a standing start into that very difficult hairpin. So everybody cross your fingers, hold your breath, cross your toes, and send good energy for this start. Things can get pretty ugly here on the start at the Nürburgring due to that difficult downhill turn 1 braking zone that you heard Charles talk about, especially on ice cold tires. No traction control, no anti-lock brake, so things can be a little iffy here. And as the clock winds down, we should see the lights here momentarily, and Case is going to have to guard against Vicroy, who will have the inside attack line into that opening hairpin. The lights are up and we are underway. Start looks pretty well. Case is going to move over to cover off Vicroy. That'll give Green an opportunity potentially around the outside. Now Vicroy is going to try the outside. Vicroy drags a wheel early. Oh, you hate those lockups in turn 1. He's going to be dealing with that for the next couple of laps as that tire rebounds from getting smoked like that. But it is Case from Vicroy, from Green, from Eggert, from Poborji. Not a lot of movement up front. Looks like Velasco and Mikovits are dicing back and forth. But right now, Charles, the whole top 11, no movement, very clean start, and a great job by these guys getting off the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Great start by everybody. Like you said, a couple of lockups going down into 1, but they handled it really well. And we got Poborji making the move over Eggert to pick up a position. That's the first move inside the top 10. Actually, the top 16.
Yeah, you
to be fair.
Poborji there. Yeah, see Poborji there in that yellow car. And now all the pressure is on Vicroy. Not only does he have Jason Green 6/10 behind, that he has to keep an eye on what Green is up to. He has got to stay in touch with Case. And so far, so good. That interval only 0.4. So he'll be well within drafting range down this long back straightaway. But that is job 1 for the entirety of this race. He has to keep Stephen Case within reach. If he drives away, it could be over. And I heard that. Charles saw something. What's going on, Charles?
It was Mikovits. It just went wide coming out of that corner. Got in the gravel. Mansions collected, but lost a couple of spots. He's dropped down to P8.
Yeah, it looks like Mikovits, that trip into the kitty litter cost him 2 positions. He drops from 6 to 8. And despite the length of this track, these F3 cars hustling around here. Oh, almost a little smooch there. And that was Corwin sniffing around behind Mikovits, wanting to take advantage of Mikovits' roasted tires from that incident. We're going to see Mikovits here. We're going to get that in slow-mo. Gets a little wide there. And, it does take a couple of laps, Charles, for these tires to get fully in bloom. And those tires were not ready there for what Mikovits was asking them to do.
Yeah, then looks like Bali followed him in the dirt, could not hold it, has dropped down to 23rd, so he's down 13 spots. I saw that just at the tail end of our replay. So So a couple of people just kind of working a little wide through there, coming out of Coca-Cola and into that. What you said, I can't even remember the name of the corner you called it just a minute ago.
There are so many names on this. If you thought that Americans were the only ones that sold out everything that's not nailed down to advertisers, you're wrong, because you should see this map of Nürburgring. Every corner is named after a product. And Charles, I have no idea which one you might be referring to. But Vic Roy's still hanging on. And I'll tell you, if I was Vic Roy and I could keep that gap, in that 0.4, 0.5 sweet spot without making any moves, without wearing the tires, save it for the end. That might be his best crack at knocking Case off of his high horse here at the Nürburgring. And it'll be really interesting to see how that unfolds. And taking a look at our timing tower, you can see a couple of those intervals turning to white. That means that they're over a second. So you can see Velasco is leading a little train here and maybe acting as the cork in the bottle. You see Kacher and Lopez with some significant gaps behind Christopher Wang as well. And these cars will train up a little bit because of the draft. They'll start running in these groups. And here we are taking a look at Vic Roy coming down that pit straight on that tough downhill approach into turn one. And we'll stay with him for a second and see what he does with that curb. Yeah, right over that thing. Don't be shy. You can significantly cut that thing without getting a 1X, and really helps you get an exit right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great run through one as we have a battle now between Eggert and Proborgi. They're battling side by side, and they've been that since through turn one. They're still going side by side and just getting finally cleared up coming out of four.
Yeah, you saw Proborgi kind of hanging it sideways out of the Mercedes arena section. And man, these cars are such a hoot. That is every bit as fun as it looks. However, probably not sustainable. You can drift him pretty good, but you cannot do it for 25 minutes. And Eggert is going to take a peek, sticks his nose in down the inside of the hairpin, elbows out. Hargy-bargy again displaces Proborgi, and Eggert moves up into P4. And, I'd call that more or less clean, just a little love tap there, and Eggert making it happen.
Yeah, really tight entry pin, and does a good job. Everybody does a good job of keeping off of each other. So, yeah, brave move. Looks like Eggert's maybe got a little bit of an advantage over going into the brakes.
Yeah, and there's Posada turning, and stay there. Wisely backs out of the way, and he got a little nip there. Actually, somebody got a piece of him. Oh, that is too bad. And looking at that one again, that maybe have been a little bit of a dive by Eggert. Proborgi may be a little salty about that, but Proborgi is not shy either. So he's going to be looking for revenge on Eggert for that move. And here we go down the pit straight. Look at that gap dropping. Case moves over to cover the inside. Vic Roy is going to have maybe the over-under right here, but Case somehow, despite taking the inside entry, gets a really good drive out of that turn one, and Vic Roy still behind. And Vic Roy probably testing here, probing. It may be a little early to really go on the attack at this point in the race, but certainly worth seeing how your competitor reacts by showing your nose in some of these passing zones, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was nice look for Vic Roy and smart just to back out of it and just save it for a little bit later, but it did allow Green to pick up about 3/10. So he's being drawn back up into this battle, and he gets a little bit closer, and they'll bring him along for the ride, and he'll get involved in this as well. And I'm sure he'd like a little bit of not necessarily payback, but a little shot at Vic Roy after last week at Zandvoort with the incident between those two guys. But I did see Velasco as well has now jumped into the back of that battle with Proborgi and Eggert. So so the battles are starting to heat up a little bit as the packs are starting to do a little fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah, and watching Case and Vic Roy fighting up front, only 7 minutes in, it makes me kind of wonder, Charles, whose tires get hurt more the guy covering the inside on defense or the guy following and trying to stick it through, because neither of these guys being particularly kind. Oh my goodness. And shades of Vettel there as Case moves over, squeezing Vicroy into the Armco there. And this one's going to come to blows sooner rather than later. And by the way, speaking of revenge, Poborji back past Eggert. We'll try to find that and see how that happened. And here we go. Vicroy is going to try the outside again. Little lock up there, but he's going to have the inside here into turn 2. And can Vicroy make this stick? Another left-hander coming up, but then Case is going to have the advantage coming out of the Mercedes arena, and Vicroy is going to back out of it. Case survives again, but Vicroy all over him, Charles, like the plastic on Grandma's couch.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, they're still battling. I think Vicroy's smelling blood a little bit tonight. I feel like he's got a really fast car, just a little bit off pole, and he's showing that he's got the speed to match Case tonight. So this is going to be a really good battle, but they're going to be careful. Jason Green is right there behind them, just waiting to pick up the pieces should anything come to blows up front.
Well, and Green is grinning ear to ear right now. He has no pressure to speak of from behind Poborji and Eggert fighting each other. Green can just watch these guys blow their tires off, fighting each other. Green's driving the normal line. He's not playing defense. He's not taking any lunges or dives, saving his tires. And this may work out really well for Green in the long run. The race might just come to him down the stretch if Case and Vicroy continue fighting as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were on board with Poborji getting a little wide there. And look at this gap. The gap started to close up now between third and fourth. It's only about a second. So this battle that's going on up front is these guys are having to go down and wait for each other and make sure that they don't make contact. It's allowing this next group to kind of climb back into this race. And it might be a 7-car battle before we're all said and done.
Yeah, and interesting stuff. And you know, if you're in that front group, you try to send a telepathic message to the other 2 cars. Let's just drive nose to tail, no fighting. Let's get away from these guys and fight later. But sometimes those little signals get lost in the mix. And you're right, Charles. We're developing a 7-car train up front due to Case and Vicroy being slightly off pace. So it's Case from Vicroy, from Green, Poborji, Eggert, Mikovits, and Velasco. All within, less than a second, some within half a second. And the first significant gap is Velasco to De Silva back there for P7.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's the big gap. As you see, the top 7 are now pretty close together. 8, 9, 10, 11 are all separated by at least a second. And then after Lopez, you've got Snyder, Conway, and Wang sitting back there, kind of looking to say, okay, let's see if we can make some noise here and move up and maybe jump into the top 10 before this race is over.
Yeah, good stuff. 10 minutes in, 15 to go. And it looks like Case has got a little bit of a gap going here, and we're taking a look at Corwin. That must be Corwin trying to get past Trantham there, and he has to sit and wait for traffic to stream by. And oh man, that is about the worst feeling when you've got the race adrenaline going and you know that you need to be sportsmanlike, that those are your friends on track and you have to wait for them to go by. But my goodness, that was very costly for him. Corwin now sitting -9 from his qualifying position. And meanwhile, guess what? Poborji and Eggert are still dicing. And look at Velasco and Mikovits right behind them, almost side by side through turn 16 onto the pit straight. Great racing up front, just as I expected from Nürburgring. These cars do so well on these F1 courses. And here comes Poborji again. Eggert's going to leave the inside open. Woo! A little brushback pitch there by Poborji, pushing Eggert toward the curb. No contact, but a little move to let him know that he needs to have his space, and Poborji gets back by. So those two have switched positions a number of times already in 7 laps.
Yeah, and it's already doubled the gap to Jason Green in third. Now it's 2.2 seconds because these guys are starting to fight again. But they're saying, okay, we'll fight now, and we'll see if we can catch things back up. But it looks like Green's starting to lose a little bit of time as well. Maybe made a mistake somewhere, has dropped down. He was within, I think, a half second just a moment ago, and is now a second between himself and Vicroy in second.
Oh, and here comes Taggart stuffing it down the inside again. He loves that move as a little dive bomb there into that hairpin on turn 8. And is he going to get the move done before the Schumacher S's? Just barely. I think Poborgi breathed the throttle a little bit down the stretch. He thought about contesting the entry to the Schumacher S's and changed his mind. And don't forget, Alex Velasco now sniffing around behind Poborgi. He wants to get involved in this, and Mikovits as well. So some great fighting going on. This top 7 putting on a hell of a show right now. There's another little train, as Charles mentioned, from Lopez Schneider to Conway for P11. Another one, Bali, Cardenas, and Corwin fighting for P16. And my goodness, some great action here at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see the cars just struggle a little bit. We saw Corwin a moment ago, but there was a couple in this battle here, P4, that just a little gingerly getting back on the throttle. Looks like the rear end is already starting to have a little bit of problem as we're 13 minutes into this race, so just over halfway. Looks like we're already starting to get some rear tire deg on these as we're battling side by side through turn 1. That's Velasco. And put Borgi a look to the inside, could not hold it, so it's dropped back down to P6. Borgi staying in 5th, and Mikovits is back there saying, "Yeah, go ahead, guys, fight it out."
Wow, and Velasco rolling over rear tire of Poborgi, and that can frequently go very, very bad in these cars. Right there, doink. Oh my goodness. And both of those guys, particularly Velasco in the blue car, getting away with one there. And, looking back at Green, that gap continuing to grow there. And I'm wondering if Green is kind of letting his experience tell him it's time to relax a little bit and let these guys fight up front and save his tires for the end. Tire dig definitely happening right before our eyes, and it's going to be have a significant impact on this race, as we were speaking about prior to the flag.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen Jason in different leagues that I've covered here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, and he will sometimes be content to just stay back there, and then all of a sudden the next thing you know, luck jumps in his way, and but it's in his favor. And as I watched a race we did last season in the Spec Racers where Jason was running 3rd. And the 2 cars on the last lap were battling so hard they end up with a double disqualification, and Jason won the race. So he gets some good racing luck from time to time. So it may pay off for him again tonight.
Yeah, and here's a replay of Velasco sticking it inside of Poborgi on that turn 14 entry to that tough chicane coming off the back straight. And Velasco has taken advantage of the fighting going on in front of him and has gotten past Mikovits and Poborgi to move up into P5. So great drive by Velasco right now. And taking a look at Conway with that is... Sorry, my brain failed just for a second. God's Conway chasing down Justin Snyder in a battle for P12.
Yeah, so a nice battle going on here. Obviously, mid-pack. These mid-pack battles have been really good this season. These cars are a little bit stretched out a little bit further than I would have expected. As I think we've had some issues where we've had some cars like that. That's Trantham going around in the chicane. And I think that causes some natural gaps as cars have to do a little checking up to avoid contact. And I think that creates some natural gaps in these positions and kind of breaks some of these battles up.
Yeah, that final chicane, and I'll go ahead and tell you the brand Vidal. So the next time you're shopping in Germany, you can pick up Vidal, whatever the hell that might be. But very, very tough anti-cut curbs right there. You can't get through there fast without touching him. You can't avoid him completely, but you have to decide how much of them you want to take. And Trantham biting off a little more than that car could chew on that lap. And taking a look now at Joshua Corwin, he's got Cardenas about 0.7 behind Corwin, looking ahead at that battle between Bali and Duvall. And meanwhile, up front, Viceroy has reeled in Case. That gap down less than a tenth now. And Case just keeps covering that inside every time. Viceroy not able to do anything with it, although this time looking a little better. He's going to have the inside run through 2. Can he maintain it up to turn 3? And no, the last time he tried that, Charles, Case was able to get a better drive out of 3, even though they were side by side, and beat Viceroy to turn 4, and it has happened again. And Viceroy has got to be feeling frustrated right now. He's using tires to get himself in position to get that pass done, but not able to finish it.
No, not able to finish it. Case has done a really good job, again, of just defensive drive, picking the right line, making Viceroy take the long way through 1. It is giving him a good run. He's able to match up side by side going through 2, but 2 is just such a tight corner that you just can't get a good run on the inside. And Case is able to stretch out, use the outside on that curb to go into 3 and get clear before they get through 3. And it's allowing him to get clear in 3 and 4 and carry it. But I think Viceroy, if he's maybe a thought would be he needs a better run coming out of 4. He wants to get it. If he can stay up there and keep Case pinned a little bit tighter through 3, he might have a chance coming out of 4 to get a run down into 4.
Yeah, or maybe even, if desperate times call for desperate measures, maybe try to stick it inside up here on turn 16 to make Case unable to cover the inside of the entry at the end of turn 1 at the end of the pit straight. And here we are back with Viceroy. He needs to pull that visor wrap off. It'll get a little foggy looking, but again, you see that draft going to work. This time, Case will take the normal line. Viceroy not close enough to make a move. That gap up to 0.4 now, and Green still hanging around about 2 seconds back. But look at Eggert now, has reeled in Green and has got that gap down less than a second. And Green obviously relaxing a little bit right now, and might need to rethink that, as Eggert now has that gap down to half a second. So Eggert wants a piece of Green right now, as Green was kind of been waiting for this fight between Case and Viceroy to come to blows in front of him.
Yep, absolutely. And these guys are really starting to turn up the wick. The lap times are coming down, and they're just even harder battling lap after lap. You can see Viceroy not giving him a single chance to breathe. Still within 2/10 coming down the straightaway into the hairpin as we get this battle here between Lopez making the pass over Jason Kotcher. Nice move to the inside there at turn 6. Get that position and take it and move into the top 10. So great run by Lopez.
Oh, that was an awesome move. I think that was actually took him on the outside of 6 to set up the move for 7. So very sweet move right there. And up front, looks like Viceroy has cranked that interval down a little bit from the last lap, got it down to about 2/10 as we approach the Vidal chicane. Kind of reminds me of Vidal Sassoon for some reason. And Case, you see him getting a little loose there.
Ooh.
He's going to get a bad exit. Is Viceroy going to have the opportunity? No. They both heard me. Viceroy said, yeah, I'll give that a try. Case said, no, you won't. However, that gap's still very close. Watch it drop. 0.1, dropping under 0.1 now. And yet again, Case is daring Viceroy to figure out something, anything, to make something happen from the outside entry to turn 1. You'll look at those brakes glowing as they fly down that hill, and we're deja vu all over again. They're side by side through 1, and Case gets a better drive out of 2 to beat Viceroy to turn 3, and Viceroy has got to be fuming right now. This is a puzzle that he cannot crack.
Yeah, it hasn't figured out the combination yet, and but he's still fighting, and he's just, once again, he's staying within that 2/10. He is not letting this go. I think he may just kind of sit back and is maybe waiting on Case to make a mistake, but Case has been pretty bulletproof thus far in the racing as a season, in the season as a whole. So I don't know if I would wait for him. I think I might have to make my own luck here. I think he had a good chance through that coming out of that chicane into the last corner, but no such luck. And it might be time to maybe think about throwing a dummy somewhere and see if he can Case off just a bit.
Yeah, and tick, 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 Charles, about 3 minutes and change remaining. So if Viceroy has a plan, he's got to execute it. And I think he does have a plan, but it's just not coming together for him. And speaking of consistency, Case 6 podiums out of 7 appearances and has won the last 3 in a row, trying to make it 4 here in Germany as the time winding down. And man, you got to have ice water in your veins to withstand the onslaught from Viceroy. And we are seeing some outstanding open wheel driving here. And here they come onto the pit straight one more time, a couple more times actually. That gap is 0.3. Case will move over, but probably won't have to cover the entry. Well, actually, it looks like he will. We'll jump back to Eggert on Jason Green. We were talking about that, talking about Green slowing down, and Eggert gets through there easily. Ooh, has a little trouble putting the power down out of turn 1. Cost him some exit speed, but he still was able to get away from Green. So Green falling, and look at that timing tower flashing. Poborgi and Velasco going at it right now. You can see them swapping positions, and here is that action, and a little smooch right there. And how many colors are going to be on Poborgi's car by the time this race is over? Poborgi has been pumping, banging, and grinding.
Oh, and there goes a piece. I saw a piece of it's a side pod of Velasco's car there. Just kind of goes skidding off the side. He managed to get through, but I don't know if that's maybe just a graphical glitch or if he actually lost the side pod of the car. But if he did, that's a major aerodynamic piece that he's going to be wanting back very, very soon the next time they get on one of these long straights.
Yeah, it's definitely gone, but you know that exhaust manifold likes that extra cooling air.
Whoa!
And, oh my goodness, wow. And wow. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to show you that again, but Poborgi needed to tighten that leash a little bit. That has been developing, folks, over several laps, and Poborgi finally maybe takes that a little too far. And huge wreck there. Call the medics. And both of those guys are on the flatbed heading back to the pits. And that is a shame to see after 24 minutes of epic racing, a lot of it involving Poborgi and Eggert. I hate to see it end that way. And I want to say, where is the starter? Yeah, I'm looking for the starter. I'm not seeing him. It's got to be white flag at this point, though, running almost 2-minute laps. So we are on the final lap. It is Case from Viceroy, from Eggert, from Green, from Mikovits now. And it looks like Case, I don't want to jinx him, but sure looks like he has got this one in the bag. He's got about a 3/10 interval back to Viceroy. Viceroy may have one last desperate lunge at him down there in the Vidal chicane in turn 14. I kind of doubt he's going to roll the dice there, but Viceroy is tired of finishing behind Case and may roll the dice here, riding along with Viceroy. This inside move here is doable. Viceroy will show his nose, but man, oh man, Case has so much racecraft, Charles. It is shocking how he's able to put up with relentless pressure, not just from Viceroy, but from some of these other fast drivers throughout the season. But time running out here for Viceroy. And wait a minute, is that a move happening? No, Case still able to cover the inside. Look at our track map here. And we are heading on to that back straight for the last time. We'll see what kind of a tow Viceroy gets here. Right now it's 0.3. It is going to drop, but is it going to drop enough to give him a potential move down here into turn 14? Viceroy looking. No, nope. And whoa! And Viceroy definitely rolling the dice here when not making a pass. He could have had a unforced self-spinner there, but manages to hang on. And speaking of hanging on, here comes Stephen Case. 4 wins in a row and a death grip on P1 in your season standings. It is Case from Viceroy, from Eggert. Here comes Jason Green and Kalen Mikovits to round out your top 5. And we will continue our coverage of the finish line as the rest of the field comes through. But my goodness, Charles, what a race here at Nurbs. Wow.
Yeah, great race and a good battle up front for the win tonight. Normally it's Stephen Case just kind of rolling off and behind, but not so much. Not Viceroy kept him in check all night long. Really tried to make a couple of nice moves, but kept it clean. and did not do anything that would have been detrimental to either car. So great racing by Vickroy, great drive by Case again, getting the win. Eggert, great job to jump up on the podium over Green, as we see the last couple of cars. So this is Jason Kocher and Igor Grunsky coming across the line to get 16th and 17th as Trantham crosses. And we got 3 more cars to cross, and that'll be the end of that. We'll go through finishing order, but great drive all the way around. Some great battle, especially in the top 10. We had 2 really, really strong packs of cars that were doing battle up front. So it's great to see. And as I say every week, the field just gets better week in and week out. And so now you're seeing really good, strong fights all up and down the running order.
And what about that tire management, Charles? Up front, Case and Vickroy drove the hell out of these cars for 25 minutes. No sign of any kind of ill handling from tires going off. So while they had that epic battle going on at the front, they managed to take care of their tires somehow while putting together a pretty good gap to Eggert, Green, Mikovits, and others behind. So really a masterclass in F3 racing out here today by both of these drivers, and a tip of the hat to both. I'm not sure who we're going to have in for interviews, but I would love to hear from either or both of those guys. Just a fantastic show. And you're right, these F3 races get better and better and better. And congratulations to Sim Racers Group for creating this incredible competition and the incredible developmental league that we have in F4 that is feeding this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Great driving again. Great job by SRG. So it's been a fun season so far, and it's not done yet. We still got plenty of racing left.
Yeah, and look at that great photo opportunity. That's Case, Vickroy, and Eggert. So get out your cameras. That is your podium lined up there at the start-finish line along the pit straight here at the Nürburgring GP-Strecke. Yeah, there we go, Mike. That's why he gets the big bucks. He can come up with shots like that. But man, oh man, what a fantastic race! And when we're done here, we'll get a few donuts in, and we'll have those results up for you momentarily. But fantastic stuff. And Charles, such a privilege to be in the booth here with you and with Mike, watching these races get better and better and better. And folks, you'll want to stay with us for the remainder of this season. We got a lot more great tracks ahead, and there's no reason to think that the racing is not going to continue to improve. But there are your race results. It is Case from Vickroy, from Eggert, those 3 cars you saw lined up on the start finish line. Jason Green hangs on for P4. It looked like he could threaten for the lead, but his pace dropped off as the race wore on, despite the fact that Case and Vickroy were flogging the hell out of those F3 cars, doing who knows what to the tires. They still managed to create a gap behind. Mikovits will round out the top 5. Then it's De Silva, Lebivi, Lopez, Lloyd Conway, and Bali rounding out your top 10. Then it is Chris Wang, Adam Duvall, Josh Corwin, Rafael Cordinas, Dylan Kocher, Grunsky, and Trantham. Then I'll take you to P18. Then it's Day, Snyder, and Velasco in P21, the last car on the lead lap. Then a couple of lappers there. Poborgi, tragically, after that contact that we saw with Velasco. Diego Posada as well off the lead lap. And Brashear, Guyton, and Glasser did not take the grid, I do not believe, so you can ignore those bottom cars. And as we wrap up here, we have got a bit of a crowd forming out front. And I'll tell you what, Charles, why don't you have a chat with whoops, that is not who I intended, but why don't you have a chat with Skylar Vickroy, who came in P2?
Yeah, Skylar, welcome in. I think he was meaning to grab Steven, but hey, great race. And this time, you finished second again to Steven Case. But not 8 seconds behind, only about 3/10 behind. So you had a great run tonight.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take a battle for second place. I mean, we were slugging it out back and forth. I gave it everything I had. I can walk out of this race with my head held high that we had that kind of battle. I hope it was really good to watch on the broadcast. I'm excited to go back and watch it. But Steven, yeah, so Steven had just just the perfect defense, man. We were going back and forth. I don't know how many times we had close calls, but when you can trust somebody that you race with like that, you can do those kind of things. And I had a ton of fun with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it was a very, very good defensive drive case. It just seemed like you just couldn't find the proper combination of corners to get the run that was going to stick, and managed to pull. He just managed to pull it out. But it was, like I said, yeah, it was a fantastic race to watch. It was great to see a battle for the win, as opposed to maybe some battles for P2 and P3. We've got. I'm sure that you're very proud of that accomplishment tonight.
Absolutely. To be honest, when I was on my own stream, I was telling everybody, I'm guessing top 5 might be possible tonight. It just wasn't really in the groove, but something clicked in the race, and then I stopped thinking. I think that was the big thing. I stopped overdriving, stopped worrying about this and that, just like, let's go race, and it did the trick. But I was kind of looking at the times. Everybody seemed to go a little bit faster in the race. So congrats to everyone out there. And it looked like it was fun all over the track. Look, there was a big battle behind me, too. So I can't wait to go back and see Chris and Jason going at it.
There was a nice battle between Jason. Yeah, obviously tried to stay with you guys as long as he could. But Eggert made a strong run at the end. And then we had another battle behind them. So, yeah, the top 10 was just battles all over the place. So next week, we've got Road Atlanta. And so what are your thoughts on that very, very iconic American track?
Love it. We're going to ruin some tires on that track, that's for sure. We're going to be sliding these things all over the place, and I cannot wait. I suspect that will be a big battle down the back straight and breaking duels, and I cannot wait. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Skylar, congratulations on another P2, but a very, very close P2 tonight. And we'll let you give any thanks or shout outs, and we'll let you go get ready for next week.
That's for sure. As always, thanks to the S&B crew for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to SRG for putting on this whole racing series. It's been a ton of fun so far. I can't wait to close out this season with the boys here. And then, of course, all up to my followers coming in from Ava Boom Gaming, ZFG, and my boys Scott and Dave out in Michigan, who tune in every week to give me some support. So, again, as always, I will come back next week and try to get one step further on that podium.
There you go, Skylar. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.
All right, that was Skylar Vickroy, and let's go ahead and move on to your season points champion and tonight's winner, 4th consecutive for Stephen Case. A great drive today, Stephen, and really the first thing that I have to ask you is you were under relentless pressure from Vickroy that entire race. You guys were both flogging the hell out of those cars. How did you manage to take care of your tires while all that fighting was going on?
Oh man, my heart rate's still going. Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I mean, I just tried to be as gentle as I could on the brakes, and push it when he pushed it, and not when he didn't. So, that's just how I kept the tires alive. And then, when it came to coming out of the corners, it seemed like I had the edge on him there. So I would slow up in the beginning of the corner and just really try to get good exits.
Oh, interesting. All right, kids, well, pay attention. That is Racecraft from Stephen Case, and we've been watching him all season put on an absolute clinic. And, the interesting thing to me, Vickroy just could not crack your turn 1 defense. I would have thought he was able to do something with that. You were taking such a shallow entry into turn 1. He'd be side by side with you, side by side through turn 2. But even on the outside line, you're getting a much better drive out of turn 2 and beating him into turn 3. And that same scenario must have happened 5 or 6 times. And it was,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It definitely seemed like turn 2 is where I could keep my defense. And before that, he kind of had me a couple times, but I was able to just get on the throttle a little quicker coming out of 2 and then get in front of him so that I could cut across on 3. And that happened, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, and I was kind of wanting him to try to take the inside away from you on that final corner before the pit straight, and maybe give himself a chance at the inside of turn 1. And it seemed like you both heard me. He took a huge dive to try to cut off your entry to the final corner under the pit straight, and you cut him off at the last moment. Do you remember that moment? It looked a little dicey.
So we're coming onto the first corner.
No, the final corner coming onto the pit straight. That
Oh yes,
long right
yes,
hander.
yeah, I do remember that. That actually happened more than once. I think 2 or 3 times that happened.
Yeah, well, incredible defense, man, and a great drive by both you and Vicroy. And we just spoke to him, and he was excited, happy, and cheerful as always. So he didn't seem at all bitter that he could not crack the case, let's say. But really fantastic drive. Your stranglehold on the individual and team championship got a little tighter here. And looking ahead, what do you think about Road Atlanta? Are you looking forward to that one?
I am. I really like Road Atlanta. That was a track I loved in Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo was kind of what I, did before coming to iRacing last year, and so that was one of my favorite tracks in that. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Interesting. So there is a path from PlayStation to to success in iRacing. So, well, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us, Steven. And as we wrap it up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Yeah, I just want to thank all my fellow competitors. Everyone's really improving. I mean, it's tough now. Everyone's stepping up and they're practicing, and I'm looking forward to more battles to come.
All right, very good. Well, thanks again, Steve, and we will see you in Atlanta next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that was Stephen Case, and tell you what, Charles, let's looks like I got Kalen Mikovits out here. Let's see how his race went tonight.
Hey, Kalen, this is Charles in the booth. Hey, so you started in 6th and finished in 5th, but I don't think that tells the story of your race. There was a pretty epic battle sitting back there in the back half of the top 10 all night long.
Yeah, there was a very close battle. I tried to stay in it, but once I messed up the hairpin on turn 1, I was 7th. I was just watching most of it unfold in front of me. Yeah, Alex and Danush were having a pretty tough battle. I tried to stay close to them, but yeah, rear-ended Danush once. And I'm not sure if I deserve P5, but I knew they were fighting really hard, and they might have crashed. So I decided to stay behind for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a late race crash that gave you a couple positions, but hey, you know what? You stayed in the battle, like I said, in the second half of the top 10 all night long. So you've been pretty consistently, I think, in that same area most of the season. So how are you feeling the competition's changing as we're getting later in the season?
The competition is getting really tough. I think qualifying, everybody's within the same 10th or 2. So you mess up a corner here or there, you're dropping 3-4 positions, and then you're fighting. You're not getting clean air. Incidents are happening around you that you need to dodge. So qualifying is really, really important. And I wish I could have brought a closer battle to like Skylar and Steven. I really enjoyed battling Skylar and Spa, but probably need more practice to get back up there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of practice, Road Atlanta next week. Have you had a chance to put the F3 car on that track at all?
I haven't put the F3 car. I've put like GT3s. I love GT3s on there, and I'll see how it goes. I think probably the line's different, and it's a huge, again, draft battle track. So qualifying, again, really important, and I'm excited to see if I can close out the season, hopefully still in 3rd. Hope and pray.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I think you're going to find it once you put the F3 a bit different. So that'll be the first one you'll figure out. Kaylin, congratulations. Good result tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. But before you go, we'll let you give any thanks or shout outs.
Yeah, I'd love to give thanks to Jason again. He's been super cool. And, he's putting on a 6-hour event next month, which I'm really excited to do. It's a 6-hour endurance in-house. There's going to be a barbecue. We're going to do Watkins Glen. Hopefully, he'll do a bit of a night race to day race transition. I think I'm really excited for that. Have a great team going. And yeah, let's finish out the rest of the season.
Yeah,
There
and
you go.
Kaylin, I understand there's going to be some celebrity appearances at that 6-hour endurance as well, and I know you all are excited about that.
Are you gonna be there?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, there we go. I'll,
I would love to be there, but I don't think a 200-mile drive is set up for me in my future. So
well, we welcome everybody. So
there you go.
Show up.
There you go, Caitlin. We thank you. Congratulations, and
All right. Thanks, Charles.
all right, have a good one.
All right, that was Kalen Mikovits, who put in another solid drive, and as he mentioned, P3 in the individual and team point standings with his team, Hubi SRG 6 with Duvall. And I will go ahead now and bring in Diego Posada. So Diego, rough track out here tonight, some hard racing, so how did this one go for you?
I'll say this. Every week someone has to come last place, and it was my turn this week. It was my turn this week. I made a silly mistake and crashed into a wall, broke my wheel, and that kind of summed it all up for me, honestly. I was hoping that someone else would crash, but it didn't seem like that was happening this week, and it's seemingly happening less and less now these days.
Yeah, as you all get better with these cars and get more seat time, the mistakes are dropping off precipitously, and the lap times and the competition are getting hotter. So did you end up taking a repair and going back out?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I had to pit, and then I was just like a lap and a half behind everyone. Yeah, seriously, shout out to everyone who in this racing series that didn't crash, because at the beginning of the season that was not the case. But now I was kind of banking like, oh, maybe someone else will crash. I might get back into this and not be last, but no. Everyone held it together. I'm just the one who stinks.
Well, that may be taking it a little too far, and by my reckoning here, it looks like Trantham and Neil Day both finished behind you, so you didn't quite achieve the DFL that you're talking about there. But I do love seeing that vintage Lewis Hamilton livery that you're running out there.
Right.
Sorry about your incident, but tip of the hat to you for taking the repair and getting back out there.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, take care, Diego. All right, that was the bitter and depressed Diego Posada. And last, Charles, we are going to bring in for you Varun Bali.
Hey, Varun. So tough day at the office. I'm sure that's not how you had it planned in your mind when you started tonight, but I'll let you talk about your race and what happened that put you in the back.
Yeah, started 10th, got up to a decent start, I'd say. Made up a couple positions. I think I was 8th or so, somewhere around there. Kind of just washed out, running wide, lost the car coming onto the straight. And from there, I was just driving mad, more so myself than anything.
Yeah, that's never the right frame of mind, because I know I've done it a lot myself. So I completely understand. Frustrated driving. It just seems like you make one mistake and they just snowball from there.
Yeah, I mean, I fell from 8th, 9th, whatever it was, down to 24th, 5th, whatever. It made my way back to 10th. So I guess it was decent enough damage limitation. It was just irritating because I know I had at least some pace.
Absolutely. So we were just mentioning, we were talking about Atlanta next week. Have you had a chance to get some practice there with the F3 car, or just Road Atlanta in general?
I've driven Road Atlanta before in the F4. Enjoy the track. Haven't had a chance to drive it in the F3, but it's a track that I generally enjoy.
Okay.
So who knows? It's also very rhythm based, so
yeah, for sure. Yeah, all right, Varun. Well, congratulations on the recovery drive back up to P10, and we'll let you get any thanks or shout outs before you go.
Shout out to Jason for setting all this up inside SRG. Shout out to everyone driving, and thank you guys for broadcasting it.
All right, thank you, Varun. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that was Varun Bali, and that actually is a damn good recovery drive
Yeah,
if he was all the way
absolutely.
in the back and made it back to P10 where he qualified. So no net gain, but no net loss either. So tip of the hat to him, and lesson there, kids. Keep your head down and keep driving. And Bali proving that can bear fruit there. So I want you to go ahead now and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Slow Motion Broadcasting and hit that notification icon so that you don't miss any of the upcoming action. On Saturday, Ron's Race Nights, we'll see iRacing official top split action with the Radical Esports Cup at Fuji. That is going to be a barn burner. And Sunday kicks off with a Weekend Warriors double feature. A Spec Racer Fords throwdown at Oran Park, and Formula Fords will battle at VIR. Next Tuesday, we'll be back here with Sim Racers Group for F4s at the fabulous Barber Motorsports Park. And 1 week from today, as we were saying, SRG F3s will be at Road Atlanta, and these races get better and better, and they are going to love that track. And want to mention as well, August 9th, the USRA Sizzle and Sebring 180 GT3 LMP2 mixed class enduro. As you see the details there, live race control, live stewarding, fixed setups, fast repairs, and cash prizes. You want to tune in for that. There's going to be some great competition on that one. And we also want to remind you, our XMS IndyCar Championship Series is coming up as well. That opener is going to be on the 27th of August at Road America, and a great spot Road America is for IndyCars, unless your name is Catherine Legg. Sorry, Leg fans. She's great. I've met her and talked to her. She's very cool. But in any event, that is going to conclude our broadcast today. I am J.R. Gregory on behalf of myself, my partner Charles Bochelle, our producer Mike Braun, and everyone here at SMB. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the day wherever you are, and hang on, baby. Friday's coming.